you so much for heartfelt introduction, Shipralad. And very, very grateful to be with you all tonight. This is a very nourishing space for me to be in always, because the space gathers people who are very genuinely interested in spiritual knowledge, genuine spiritual seekers who want the real thing. Not just like some feel-good, spiritual knowledge or so-called spiritual knowledge that makes us feel like, I'm so spiritual, and and it just kind of feeds the ego a bit. But I know that people who come here really want the real truth. So I thought that maybe we can discuss, how do you actually discern what is real and what is not real? What is some criteria of how to understand what we can trust, whom we can trust, what are the qualities of the people that can be trusted? Because these days pretty much anyone is a philosopher. And everyone has an opinion, and as long as you have a phone, you have a platform to share that philosophy with the world. And so, yeah, there's just so much information, and some of it presents itself like spiritual knowledge. So how do we recognize a person who can actually give the real spiritual knowledge? Does that kind of sound interesting? Okay, good. Because this is going to be an interactive discussion, so this is not me speaking at you, but I want to hear from all of you. And yes, just a few more words on the context of this. Because humanity just for centuries and centuries argue about what is the absolute truth, right? It just goes on and on. So we have philosophers and poets and writers and scientists and artists that all attempt to come up with some deep realization that then they share through their work. And they make movies and they write novels and poetry and books and all types of things with some deep philosophical subtext. Oftentimes it, has a message. And so we receive all these different opinions and perspectives, and we accept something and we reject something, right? And then we form our own opinion about the world, about who we are, what is the meaning of life, what is love, what is happiness, all of these philosophical concepts, right? But the absolute truth is something that, what is the absolute truth? When you hear this word, absolute, these two words, absolute truth, what comes to mind? What does that mean, absolute truth? Unchanging, yeah. Eternal, okay. Yes.
I guess it's distinguishing from smaller truths that
Okay.
do change.
Yes.
And there's some hierarchy of truth, perhaps.
Highest truth. Unlike the small truths that might be changing, they are true, but not forever. So they're smaller truths. Yes, absolute truth has to be all those things, right? It has to always exist. It has to be always true, regardless of the context. And the premise of this discussion is that absolute truth cannot be understood by material tools, because absolute truth has to be a spiritual truth. So if there is matter and spirit, matter is something temporary by definition, and spirit is something eternal. And so we cannot possibly understand the the absolute truth by the non-absolute means, right? And so all of that work of these philosophers and writers and, you know, movie directors and poets and their opinions based on experience, based on reason and intellect, lots of different things. But can it really present the truth in its absolute sense? We're probably sensing like, no. So, so what, oh, no. Sorry, I'm struggling here. So I wanted to start with different means that we can gain any knowledge. Not necessarily absolute knowledge, but different means that we can gain any knowledge. So what comes to mind? How can we learn about something, anything?
By reading.
Okay. Experiencing. Okay. Yes. Through sight. Okay. Seeing something. Yes. Any other thoughts?
The newspaper. Japan had an earthquake.
Okay, yeah. Right? Any other ways of learning about something, gaining knowledge?
Go to university.
Okay. Yes. Generally, there's three ways, three means of gaining knowledge, according to the yoga philosophy. First is through our senses. So like you said, sight, we hear something, we see something, we smell something, we taste something, we learn about the world through our senses, right? Can they be trusted?
The sun looks very small.
Okay.
So just with my eyes, if I don't use the brain, then
Yep.
the sun looks totally small.
Right. If we were just to make sense of reality just from sight, it's not sufficient. Okay. Any other thoughts? Can we trust our senses?
No.
Well, sometimes, right? I mean,
No.
never.
Yeah. Regarding touch, I heard that we don't necessarily have like liquid sensors.
Okay.
So it's like depending on like the warmth and something like that, we might feel like it's liquid, but it's like we don't really know until we actually look. It's like, you know, so
Okay.
it deals with other senses, but it's not necessarily it can tell that it's liquid. It's just like warmth and touch and
Right.
together. So
Right, and we know from from psychology that a lot of the time brain makes up for the information that we're not getting through the senses, and it fills the gaps that we have from the senses. But we can trust. I mean, we can trust them sometimes. When never. Okay.
No. I don't trust my senses.
Okay.
My senses. I don't know about your guys. My senses, no. I don't trust my senses.
Okay, good. Next, we have reasoning. So, Sanskrit word for senses, we have pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means all our senses. Anumana is a means of gaining knowledge through reason. So like you're saying, we're looking at something, and the sun looks really small, but logically we know, okay, it's really far away. So the size that I'm looking at, it might not be exactly right because it's so far away. So so we have reason, and yes, and still we're using our senses. We're using all of that, but we are kind of filling those gaps. So maybe I've never seen $1 million in cash, but I have seen some cash, so I can imagine it probably exists. So things like that. So these two means of gaining knowledge give us some information, but and we need to give some validity to these two means, because we need to check if the milk is expired. We have to see and taste and trust it to some extent. But we need to understand that these senses are not perfect, and they can be faulty, and they can lead to wrong conclusions, right? Even in mundane ways, these things fail us sometimes. But more importantly, it's important to distinguish spiritual reality from material reality, like we said. And so if material reality can, to some extent, be trusted by our senses and reason, though not perfectly, spiritual reality just absolutely cannot, right? Why? Why is that? Yes.
Not the physical.
It's not the physical world, something totally different. Yes, any other thoughts? Why can't we perceive spiritual reality through some senses or mundane reasoning?
Because we don't understand. Because we can't trust our senses.
Mm.
So we should not trust our senses.
Mm.
Can we get some hints?
The hint was the hint. Yes, exactly. We already mentioned that because it's two completely different categories. We have our material senses and intelligence. Although sometimes we may think if we're not seeing something, it's spiritual. But from the yoga texts, we know that matter isn't always something physical. There can be subtle matter, right? So mind and senses, they pertain to subtle matter. We can't see it. It's not physical. We can't touch it, but it's still matter. So it's just two completely different categories. And so there is a third, thankfully, way of, oh, have I been just accidentally doing this? So there is a third means, which is called shabda. And shabda in Sanskrit means sound. And this doesn't just mean sound, it also includes books. In information that we read, it basically includes all sources that don't come from me. So hearing, reading about an opinion other than my own. And there's two, so all these, I'm throwing a lot of Sanskrit terms for some reason at you, but all of these are called pramanas. And pramana means source. It's a cool word to know because we hear a lot of stuff, and it's a good habit to ask, what's your source? Where is this coming from? Is this, YouTube University, or do you have a degree? Or, what is your credibility, basically? Why should I trust you? So it's a good question to kind of keep in mind and ask. And yes, so.
I was going to say that.
Yes?
Shabda is not bound by time. Like pratyaksha, you're only seeing you don't know what happened 10 years ago. That has to be like in an archive or something. If you want to learn about the past, you can't just use your eyes and see the past.
Mm-hmm.
And logic sits in between these two. It doesn't work on its own. You have to see things and then come up with logical conclusions, or you have to hear things and come up with logical conclusions.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a dependency there.
Yeah, that's a cool observation. Yes, and so so this shabda, this information, can be of two types, right? It can be coming from human Purusha in Sanskrit means human. So Purushaya Shabda means it's coming from... Damodar, can you help me? I'm really struggling. I can't see my notes now. Oh, this was not here. Okay. Maybe we can have a clicker next time. So yes, Purushaya Shabda means it comes from humans. So any examples? What, like for example, what would be Purushaya Shabda, you think? Huh? Teacher of something material, like science or things that we learn at school. Yeah.
Parents to children?
Okay.
Parents,
Yes.
parents, family.
The newspaper said there's an earthquake in Japan.
That's Purushaya Shabda. Yes, for sure. Yes. So human made, and basically anything that is born out of someone else's pratyaksha and anumana. So something that's born out of someone else's senses and logic. So it's no better than my own. I mean, it can be better in material sense. If someone can teach me, how to play an instrument, or someone can teach me so many things that I want to learn materially, material knowledge, right? But spiritual knowledge has to come from something else, like we already said. It can't come from senses or logic, because those are material. And so we have Apurushaya Shabda. And this letter A in Sanskrit means none, or the opposite. So non-human source, right? Or divine source. So the absolute truth, the yoga texts tell us that the absolute truth can only be revealed by the absolute truth itself. Does that kind of make sense of why that is the only way, logically? Does that make sense? Any questions up to this point?
Yeah, I thought, don't you get spiritual knowledge from, teachers and mentors and pundits and that kind of thing? Don't they provide that? And they take the knowledge from that book and...
Yes, absolutely. We'll get to this. So yes, we need...
Or would you say that the books are an unabridged version of the truth, and everybody else is giving their interpretation, sort of with their experiences and their understanding, it's also come together.
Exactly. So we have this divine origin of scripture, and then, but the thing is, what we're also going to get to, is that we actually can't just open the scripture and understand it as it was intended, because we will read through that faulty logic. We will read through those experiences. We'll read through the lens that will inevitably just support our current worldview and how we see ourselves. It might help us justify some things. It's that comfortable philosophy that I kind of mentioned before. So we need humans, like you said. We need real people to explain what is meant in this divine literature. But that kind of human, right, that we can trust, that will give us this absolute truth without distorting it. Like you said, not from all of their material experiences, right? But we want to hear from someone who doesn't have their agenda, who is giving it to us as it was intended, like I said. Yes?
So we're dealing with epistemology. How do we know something? And one thing that it's said is that Shabda is like the king, but the other two are also not they're like servants. They serve the king. So one is leading, but the two other, like if you have shabda but you don't have intelligence, then you're just gullible. It says the book says this, therefore, and you just follow it. And the other one is like there's like perception. Also, you can have what is like spiritual perception. So they're not the leader, but they're not like not useful.
Mm-hmm.
They serve the shabda.
Absolutely. And they absolutely should prove they sort of have to prove to us that this truth is really true. So at some point, any information, any knowledge, it only has value if we can truly feel it. So that's another criteria of a true path is if you give it a real shot, and if you put the time and the energy to practice, and you try to see, you try to understand, you will experience it with your senses, and your reason, which we have for a reason. We have it because it serves our well-being, protects us from lots of harm, and it's a good thing. But my point was that we just have to realize that it is faulty, and have that small possibility that there's something beyond my own perception and my own logic and my own senses, which will give me a little glimpse into reality. But we absolutely have to utilize our senses and logic to really experience it, and to learn to discern and to see what is this really true. So yes, thank you for that. And another point I wanted to make here about the divine sound is that the way we want to approach it, because it is you could say it's God itself in the form of knowledge. So we approach it in this humble way, and almost as a relationship, and asking for the knowledge to be revealed. And we have a word in Sanskrit for this revelation, which is darshan, and it literally means to see, to see something. So it's a meeting. Seeing the truth is something that is actually proven to us by our senses. At some point in the meditation, we are promised that if we give this a proper effort, proper time, proper energy, we will actually see God in our meditation with time. So we just need to find the person who's seen the truth, and they can help us see it. So easy enough. And the truth is, it's very rare in this world, in this modern world, because knowledge from God goes through lots of people, and it can get diluted and it can get distorted for those reasons that we've mentioned, because it gets manipulated according to people's different agendas. Because unless a person has moved beyond the realm of matter, material realm, right? Material senses, material desires and designations, they're still after something. They still have some sort of agenda, some sort of goal. So they wouldn't be able to keep the knowledge in its intact, in its purest form. They would knowingly or unknowingly distort it right? So the criteria of a person who can really relay it in its pure form is, and we have so many instances in the Bhakti scriptures, in the yoga texts, that tell us exactly the qualifications of a true teacher. So we have really good kind of compass and guardrails of whom we can trust and whom we can't trust. And it's a whole big topic, but I'll mention at least a few key things that we can keep in mind for our own kind of safety and learning. So this verse here, Vacha vegam, manasa krotka vegam. I won't read the whole Sanskrit, but the word that's repeating here over and over again is vegam, vegam, vegam. And in Sanskrit it means urges. So the translation is a sober person who can tolerate the urge of speech, of the mind, of anger, of the tongue and belly and the genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Yeah.
This is my trivia question I ask devotees sometimes. Who are the 6 vegans that you have to get them to listen to you to become a world-class teacher? If you get these 6 vegans to listen to you, then you become a world-class teacher.
Shiny.
So.
Yeah, so control. So the number one criteria is the person whom we can trust has to have full control of the body and mind. That's criteria number 1. That's probably, it would save a lot of people from, very bad situations that we've probably heard about, different types of cults and things. All of those people were very clearly not doing this. Very foundational criteria of controlling the mind and the body. That is the one thing that will keep us safe. Yes. The number 2 criteria is that what they teach, what they speak, and how they live, it has to be the same. It has to be exactly the same. So we have to see that the way the person lives, not what they say, the way they live. We have the word achar and prachar in Sanskrit. Achar means example, and our teachers in our lineage are called acharyas because they are teachers by example, not just what they say, but how they live. So we don't trust what someone says, we trust what they do. So they should live a life of renunciation, of sense control, of simple life. They're not after anything extraordinary, only things that just serve the basic necessity of, just enough to keep the body healthy, to serve the world, to serve God. They should speak about God. They should be in deep meditation. So they should live what they preach, right? That's the. Any questions here for first 2? And criteria number 3 is they should be in a parampara. Parampara means a lineage of teachers. They are not making something up. They are giving us the knowledge that they have received from a true teacher who received it from their true teacher, etc., all the way up to God himself. That is the true lineage. And so a person who can be trusted should be in a real lineage which is from generation to generation aiming to give pure spiritual knowledge. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Like number 2, like what if the teacher gives like good knowledge, but then they don't act on it? should I still trust the teacher because I'm still getting benefit from it?
How are you getting benefit from it?
Because they're offering high quality knowledge.
And why aren't they following their own advice?
It's because they don't have control of their mind. But they know.
But they teach you how to have the control of your mind.
Yeah.
But they can't control their own mind.
Uh-huh.
It seems like we shouldn't listen to that person.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
But what if that was the only option?
Out of the 7 billion people on this planet,
Yeah, like that's the only option at the moment.
we have better options for you, Alan. Don't worry.
I guess that would be
Is there some
inspired.
level of trust?
Huh?
Some level of trust can be given.
Yes.
But you wouldn't throw away the teaching just because the teacher, I think is what Alan's trying to say.
Yes, some level of trust can be there. Like, why should you trust me? You know, I'm clearly not perfect, and I'm definitely not doing the Vacha Vegam verse, and I'm certainly not a saint of any kind. And and we're all very aware of this. Whoever is teaching here at the Bhakti Center, we're not sharing opinions. Like, I'm not sharing my opinion based on my experience or based on my own reasoning or based on anything. I am simply repeating what I learned from my teachers, and I try my best to keep it as much intact as I possibly can. Of course, I can give a personal example, but before coming to sit here, I just pray that whatever I say is exactly what my gurus and Krishna intended with giving us this knowledge, and that I don't give anything just from me, from my faulty senses. And so yeah, we have a very strict rule about opinions around here, that we don't just share opinions. Yes, and also we have a sanity check of Shri Prahlad Prabhu, my senior here, is watching that I don't say something crazy, and he'll stop me if I do. And so yeah, we protect ourselves with the right mindset of only sharing what we heard. We have the sanity check of elders and mentors and teachers that guide us and can. I sometimes ask, I have this idea of presenting so-and-so in this way. Is this right? Because it's my idea, but maybe it's not aligned. And then my teacher can say, yes, this is exactly right, because it's supported by so-and-so source from the scripture. So we always check. Any other questions? Yes.
One nice point about the verse that you shared is, like, we don't know what's in someone's heart, but much of that is like external. Like, we can see, okay, this person is they're not controlled by anger, they're not like trying to sleep around with people. Like, you can see those things. So it's like, we don't know the internal life of people, but all those things are more or less like saying, okay, it's externally, okay, then we can take a step further with this person. We can see that this person's self-controlled, at least externally. So it's like, we can apply it, because it's like, we're not psychic, but we can at least see, okay, this person's self-controlled. So,
Mm-hmm.
How can we see that?
if someone's controlled by anger or controlled by you can see that.
No, I can't see that.
Yes, we can see, we can, the thing is, our thoughts and our urges have a tendency to get out, right? We can only control to a certain extent. And yeah, someone can be a really good actor and walk around in robes of a renunciate and pretend. But but sooner or later we will see, because these things that are inside us, they have a tendency to escape because we are not able to put up, to keep that show on for forever. There will be triggers that will show our true face. So yeah, sooner or later it will happen.
I have a question.
Yes, Yan Yan.
I guess two questions. First, do you think some of us are more equipped to become the teachers or be the person who translate and deliver the divine knowledge for us? Because you mentioned something about like generational, right? Like your lineage and how you brought up. Do you think like some of us are more equipped or more prepared to become a teacher? And the second question is related to the first one, is like, do you think it's all of our job to translate that divine knowledge and to become teachers ourselves?
Thank you so much. Yeah, the first question, we are all different. We're all at different stages of spiritual realization, not according to birth or age or anything material, but from lifetime to lifetime, we've all, someone maybe is coming to a spiritual path for the first time in this lifetime. It's possible, but a lot of us are continuing our journey from previous lifetime, and so it's really impossible to say, where someone is if they've come to the Bhakti Center for the first time today, but they might be a lot more advanced spiritually than I am, or that's somebody who's been living and born in, the Bhakti movement, or you just can never know. So yeah, we're all at different stages, and yeah, we pick up exactly where we've finished, basically in the last life. And is it our job to become teachers? We have a duty to ourselves to realize who we really are, which is a spirit soul, and to realize that the only way we can be happy is by connecting with our source, with God, with Krishna, with the divine. And that is the duty to ourselves, because that's the only way we can really be happy. And any other means of happiness is just not it. They won't do in the long run. They'll lead to suffering and misery. And so we all have a duty to ourselves to realize the absolute truth. It may naturally lead to sharing with others, because when you have something and you felt the effects of this knowledge in your life, and the joy from it and the love that you feel from it is overflowing, and it will naturally lead to you sharing it with others. So is it like a duty? I'm not sure. Maybe you can say what you think, but I think it's a natural kind of what happens when we.
What came to my mind when I heard your question were two things from our tradition. One is where 500 years ago there was a great saint teacher incarnation named Chaitanya, and he visited a place, and a brahmana who he stayed with wanted to follow him. And Chaitanya told him, no, your duty, I guess you used the word duty, maybe in your question. He said, your duty is to stay here, and whomever you meet, Yaradeke Tarakara, whoever you meet, wherever you go, you tell them about these teachings. In this way, you become a teacher for your community. So rather than traveling with Chaitanya, Chaitanya encouraged him to stay in his village with his family and to share whatever realization had been inspired through his connection with Chaitanya. So, yeah, if you receive the treasure, you receive a great gift, and these teachings are the greatest treasure. We also want to share them with others, and the tradition does encourage us to do that. Prabhupada engaged his followers, even very junior, to become teachers as well. And then there's something very beautiful that Krishna says at the end of the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita's 18 chapters, 700 verses. At the very end, Krishna said, there is no one more dear to me than one who shares this teaching with others. So after receiving the treasure of the Gita, Krishna is telling us, someone who shares this with another person, holding to Champaka's point, with integrity to the teaching itself, but someone who shares and transmits is most dear. Throughout the Gita, Krishna is offering us different ways to connect and re-establish a relationship and endear oneself. And the final end, he's saying, the one who shares this is most dear.
Thank you so much. That's really beautiful. It's one of my favorite verses. And why is that person most dear? Why do you think?
Well, I have a question. What if you're sharing that knowledge to an evil person, and he's going to use that knowledge for evil, right?
Wrong.
Why?
Tell us, Lama.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
Yeah, we're also told not to do that.
Really?
Yeah. It's in that
In the same book.
an
Why?
offense for the very reason that you're questioning.
Yeah, Krishna says, don't share this most confidential knowledge with people who are envious. And but he says, because it will just disturb them. Krishna is the type of person who really values free will and really respects everybody. And we are here in this material world because we wanted to be away from God, and we wanted to be our own little gods and our own little universes and controlling what we can and enjoying what we can. And we didn't want to see him. So he's created a perfect world for that. And he's created a perfect illusion that will hide himself from us because we don't want to see. So Krishna says, don't disturb their minds. They don't want to see me. Don't try to give it. Give it to people who are sick and tired of all this, and they want to see me. They want to hear. So share with those. And there's, yeah.
I was just gonna say, but what about the example of like, wasn't there like a murderer or something who ended up being I don't have the language to say what I want to say, but there are examples where the knowledge was shared with people who weren't necessarily doing good things, and that transformed them.
Yes, good one. Absolutely. Redemption, like the notion that it's a little binary. Still able, in my opinion, and I realize, right, but there was just an average person that got a knowledge that they just don't do bad with it. That doesn't give a chance to think that.
You can't do bad with the good knowledge. Let me just clarify. You can't do bad with it.
There's a problem here in the logic itself of saying the knowledge, the absolute knowledge, should not hurt any.
No.
To any path, right? If I understand.
It cannot hurt anybody.
So what we can imagine, if someone that may have, for whatever reason in their past, had done bad action, hurtful reflection, this is an occasion for them to maybe transform a little bit, and that on its own is a gain. I cannot see anything that will not, in any case, be at least a little better in this world, let's say.
Yeah.
Just to get with what you're saying. I
Yes.
do think the way we'll talk about this here, that's not something that can dirty anything, that can only uplift it.
Absolutely. It can only uplift, it can only do good because it is the perfect knowledge of love, so it can't hurt anybody.
Can you give me an example?
But just one second. But what we're saying is that just what I said before about disturbing somebody with spiritual knowledge, they don't want to hear. It's not because they are doing something bad and they don't deserve this or something like that. It's just we want to respect people's free will because God respects our free will. So we should only share with people that inquire, that want to hear, regardless of their past, regardless of whether it's a criminal or a murderer, whatever it may be. We all have a past. That's completely irrelevant for God. The only thing that's relevant is the desire to hear and to see that we want to respect. That's the point. Yeah.
So even like in the earlier times, the gurus would be having, giving a discourse and there'd be a group of people, and of course, some people leave with being profoundly impacted by the knowledge. Some are not that impacted, and some are just. So there is this mix of people, and so the guru is not sort of saying not you, and I'll only tell you. So there is that. Having said that, you can only receive knowledge when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Or it comes to you, you are at the right time, the right moment, just when you really need it the most, or when it's ready for you.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit of confusion there. I mean, they both sound right,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yes, absolutely. And even we know from our own experiences, we may hear a statement 100 times, but 101st time, I'm like, oh my God! It's like I've never heard that before. It's a revelation, and that's why this Sanskrit word darshan. So it's we see it now because we've heard it so many times, but doesn't click, and then at the right moment, somehow there was this like opportunity for this darshan, for this revelation, and it happens. Not with, we put in our effort, but we also think about the absolute truth as a person. And so a person has their own, desire to reveal itself. So we approach the absolute truth with a really humble mood of, reveal yourself if I'm, however is best for me. Yes.
I'm sure many of us have probably at some point in our life come in contact with some aggressive religious zealot who's like screaming at us that we're going to go to hell, or maybe you've seen that, or you've seen it on a movie or so. And so there is a way to teach people according to where they're at, and if someone has strong and antagonistic views towards God, and then we go up to everybody we see and say, God is so cute, and he's blue, and he has a peacock feather in his hair, and it's like we're actually probably even fueling their disconnect. So we want to, wherever they're at, inspire some next step for them. So for some people that could be giving them delicious food that's been cooked with love and devotion and offered to God, and that's sharing. But it's not like going and telling them the deepest, most esoteric things that will actually could cause them to be. So that's what it's saying. When someone is antagonistic, then we don't go and try to force it upon them, but we still might want to help them. Let them hear some kirtan or something that will somehow inspire without. The point is that they become inspired, not that we did something. Oh, I said this to them, therefore I did my job, my duty of sharing.
Yes, thank you. the fear tactics and the different manipulation tactics that preachers use sometimes that are really unhealthy, unfair tactics to use because that means even if the person buys into that out of fear, because I don't want to go to hell, so okay, I guess I'll start praying or whatever. But with what mood am I going to do that? What is going to be in that prayer or in that practice that I'm going to pick up from that preacher? Do you think?
Fear, just fear.
Just fear. Is there going to be some love or appreciation or gratitude or willingness to know God no, it's just going to be that. And yeah, so God doesn't want that from us. He doesn't want that. He wants us to come with, it's like, I heard this beautiful analogy. Surrender, when we hear the word like surrender, even Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, just surrender. What is meant by that word, and the beautiful Sanskrit word sharanagati, which it's like a whole other big topic, but it's not like walking off the cliff, like blind, and I surrender, or like someone's pointing a gun at you, I surrender. No, it's like walking into an embrace. It's that feeling, like I am safe, I can trust this. I surrender because I trust fully that what this is wishing me well. It's wishing me highest happiness, love. It has nothing, it has no agenda. I can fully trust it. It's just love. There's no fear. Any other thoughts, questions? So many great questions. Thank you so much. Yeah?
So what if there's like a lot of good teachers? How do I choose one, or should I choose them all?
That's a big topic.
Number two.
It's Pokemon.
Yeah, well, that question I think just pertains to this entire topic in general. How do you choose a guru? And we can't really go into that too much today because that's but I would say just use this criteria to understand whom you can trust, and from the group of people whom you can trust, try to listen to them, try to hear what they say, see how they live, and try to develop a relationship of some kind. Try to approach, try to ask some questions, try to share your doubts, and see what speaks to you. From true teachers, there's no really rules of what's right. As long as it's a true teacher that is giving real spiritual knowledge, there's no mistake. We just see what, who really speaks to us, whom we want to follow. It can be based on even material things like, this person is close to me physically, geographically, so I have access to this person and I can easily serve them and hear from them and develop a relationship. So, but it's a big topic. Would you add something, Shripala, to that question in this context? I know it's a huge topic.
You expressed it as see who speaks to you, and then what was in my mind was what awakens Bhakti in your heart, like who inspires you to serve and to love and to chant. That would be a good, like along with those criteria there's someone that's really touching your heart and you want to serve, you want to chant, you want to go deeper into the teaching. That would be a good indicator.
Mm-hmm.
This is my teacher.
Yeah.
Where does that What if it's like 5?
Then you're very fortunate.
Okay.
Good news, we can have many teachers, so it's no problem.
Okay.
There are so many teachers who are just very good orators, who are appealing to my logical mind, and so I go away like very flawed and and that's not my real. But then I have to sort of work through that, I guess, and see whether, like you're saying, feel that calling and I feel awakened. So if I can
To
remove
practice,
all that,
right?
I have to remove all that and see if I really connect with the person.
Mm.
Can I ask
Yes.
something on that? So where do you place intuition or, like we're talking about.
Intuition?
Yeah, how we form knowledge through the senses, but we're talking really about the material senses and then the knowledge from what is transmitted.
Mm.
But there is, you guys to me are all talking about like there's something I know, right? We'll say it like that, I think. So it is knowledge, but
Yeah.
it hasn't gone through the passage that we're talking about so far. There's something a bit transcendent to it, it feels. I think we all know that, right? Like I have something in me telling me go there or choose that person. It feels really good.
Yeah.
That's an intuition. That's not something that we can really test, explain at times. So how do we conceptualize that in that frame of understanding knowledge?
Yeah, thank you so much. The intuition topic is so fascinating. The thing about intuition, and let me just ask you, do you think intuition can fail us? Can it fail us?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I guess I have respect for it, for my intuition,
Right.
I guess. It has never failed me.
Yeah, it's never
Maybe
failed you.
we feel differently about our intuition.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about an inner sense that no, I don't think will fail you because it comes from an understanding and an awareness that is far beyond what can be misleading.
Yeah. So I asked this question once to a teacher, and I remember him explaining this, that yes, intuition can be coming from the true self. It can, but most of the time, our true self is covered by the mind and covered by all of that false identification, right? And can we really hear that voice of the self or the voice of God? Most of the time, we can't. We are explained in the scripture. Most of the time, intuition is just a way for our karma to get realized. I might really feel I need to trust this person. This is and then they completely cheat me and take advantage of me, and my intuition failed me. And we see that with so many. I'm really into these like cult documentaries. I don't know why. But it's fascinating and so sad that people feel in their hearts like, I can trust this person. This person will give me something real, and then they get so burned. They get so burned with that. Our intuition is we can't hear the voice of God, the voice of the true self, because of all of that conditioning. So yeah, we can't fully trust that. So we need to check ourselves. Of course, the intuition is there for a reason, like it's protecting us. So we should listen. We should understand that it's possible my sense is not right. It's possible. Yeah, and just check against things that can protect us from our own intuition.
So what I tend to do, because I'm very quick at saying, oh, I feel so good about this, and oh, I don't feel so good about this, and I realize that hasn't helped me, I've been wrong many times. So I just started not making a decision on something and just taking a step away,
Yeah.
giving it time, because sometimes in the morning I'm very energetic and I feel very good about the person, and evening my energies are down and I'm not that good about a person. I could be having some hormonal fluctuations, and so I just give it time.
Yeah.
And I step away and I say, okay, after a couple of weeks, what am I still feeling?
Yeah.
And I hope that that is really the core to it all, you know.
That's a great tip. Yeah, stepping away, pausing and reflecting is just in general one of the most practical, amazing tips for success in anything. Yeah.
So yeah, I think one thing when we do have a strong intuition, one thing that we can do or we are guided to do is to look for alignment.
Yeah.
So
Check.
confirm that intuition with the teachings that you're sharing. So there's the Shabda Brahma. What does the scripture say about this thing that I'm feeling? What do the teachers say about this? What does the community say? So there's a triangulation: Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. So we can cross-check. The Shastra, yeah, it coheres or supports. The Guru is confirming what I'm feeling. The community are supporting this. Okay, let me take this forward. But if we're feeling something and we take it to the scripture, we take it to the community, we take it to and they're expressing some reservation or doubt or warning us, then we should definitely pause, step back, reevaluate.
Mm-hmm.
So we can listen to intuition, and we also have this idea of Paramatma, God in the heart, speaking to us from within the heart. But then, there are the filters. What can I hear? And so we look for that confirmation with the three ways of
Confirming the truth. Yes, thank you so much. I think we need to start wrapping up, right? So just to sum up, whom we can trust. We can trust this kind of person. Why wouldn't they change the truth? They wouldn't change it because they don't have their own opinion. They are connected to God and they are transmitting God's opinion. So that's why we can trust. Even in the material sense, we can trust somebody who doesn't want anything from us. Then we can really trust. Otherwise, that person will inevitably manipulate the situation, our feelings, to for their own agenda, right? Yes. Let's see. So yes, so we can only trust somebody who is satisfied, right? So they will not be a manipulator. They are internally satisfied. Just trying to conclude this in a concise way. Okay, just one last thing I think I want to share. What we do with, and that kind of relates to what we're talking about, guru. Once we know we can trust somebody, once we found a teacher and we've confirmed all these criteria, right? Then we have to make an effort to overcome doubts and overcome whatever barriers in our mind that we have and open our hearts to this knowledge fully. So then we have to do this. This is a verse from the Bhagavad Gita. Tadvidhi pranipatana pariprashnena sevaya upadikshantite jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him humbly, render service to him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. And so, we have three instructions here. We have to take a humble position, so accepting that you know more. Yes, taking a humble position, asking questions. So we don't want to just believe blindly. We want to express and share our doubts sincerely because why? Because then they can be addressed. Otherwise, we'll just go on with our reservations and maybe externally we'll follow, but we'll have some sort of internal obstacles and we won't fully trust the process. And so the true teacher will always inspire and ask us to express our doubts, and happy to address them in a positive, loving way. Yes, so serve, by service mainly means follow the instruction. That's all our gurus say, the same thing. Best service is chant properly. Best service is follow the path. It doesn't always mean, cooking for someone, cleaning and doing whatever. It can be there, but these spiritual teachers really don't need anything much. They are fully satisfied. They just have this treasure, right? They just have this treasure to give. And so the best service is just to hear and to try to follow. That's what makes them happy. So yes, we at some point checking against all those things, our intuition, all of that criteria, to avoid any rascal teachers out there. At some point, we have to let go of the doubts and start practicing, because only in practice we can really realize the truth. The truth is not theoretical. The truth is emotional, actually. It's heart-based. Theory cannot really change our hearts. The practice can. So at some point, we need to give it a real shot and give it a real effort. Okay, to sum up, there's a lot of spiritual knowledge out there. We need to learn to discern what is true and what isn't. We know the criteria for authority, and we guard against those manipulators or bad people out there. Now, when we found the teacher we can trust, at some point it's important to let go and surrender, meaning give it a real shot and start practicing. Yes, I think that's all I have. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I'm trying to rush through because I think we want to do some kirtan.